Welcome back to Eskimos. We're thrilled to have you join us once again on this journey through history. Today, we're diving into a fascinating yet chilling topic, the signs that could have branded someone as a witch in the Middle Ages. Imagine living in a time where superstition and fear ruled the day, and even the smallest action could lead to dire consequences. Buckle up, because we're about to unearth 19 signs that could have gotten you burned at the stake back in the day. These signs were often based on irrational fears and misunderstandings, but they had very real and deadly outcomes for those accused. So, grab a cup of your favorite beverage, settle in, and let's explore these 19 signs that could have turned ordinary women into subjects of fear and superstition. From peculiar birthmarks to unusual behavior, the criteria for being labeled a witch were as varied as they were terrifying. We'll delve into the historical context, the societal pressures, and the sheer paranoia that fueled these witch hunts. By understanding these signs, we can gain a deeper insight into the lives of those who lived in constant fear of being accused. So let's embark on this journey together and uncover the dark history of witchcraft accusations in the Middle Ages. First up, we've got the most obvious one, being a woman. Throughout history, the role and perception of women have been shaped by societal norms and cultural beliefs. From the medieval era to modern times, women have faced unique challenges and expectations. Look, I don't make the rules, folks, I just report on them. The legal and social systems of the past were often stacked against women, making it difficult for them to assert their rights or gain equal footing with men. And history tells us that during witch hunts, it was overwhelmingly women facing the accusations. These hunts were not just about superstition, they were also a means of controlling and oppressing women who were seen as threats to the established order. I mean, look at the Salem witch trials. Talk about a skewed ratio. The trials were a dark chapter in history where fear and paranoia led to the persecution of many innocent women. Back then, women were basically seen as more susceptible to the devil's shenanigans. This belief was rooted in deep-seated misogyny and a lack of understanding of natural phenomena, which were often attributed to witchcraft. Misogyny and supernatural scapegoating, a real bang-up combo. These attitudes not only justified the persecution of women, but also reinforced the idea that women were inherently flawed or dangerous. This toxic combination of fear and prejudice had long-lasting effects on the status and treatment of women in society. If you were a woman of means, watch out. Apparently, financial independence meant you were in cahoots with the devil because, women couldn't possibly achieve success on their own. It's like, oh, you can afford that fancy new hat and those shoes without a husband? Must be witchcraft. Jealousy disguised as piety, a classic. But wait, it gets worse. If you were poor, you were also a target. Made sense to the townsfolk, I guess. Get rid of the undesirables. It's like they thought poverty was contagious, and the only cure was a good old-fashioned witch burning. It's enough to make you lose faith in humanity, you know? Chapter 4. Youth. Young girls weren't safe either. Imagine being a teenager and suddenly you're being accused of communing with Satan because some creepy dude in town decided you looked at him funny. Young and impressionable, they were easy targets for these bogus accusations. Old age. But don't worry, getting older didn't make you safe. Nope. If you managed to survive into your golden years, people started whispering about dark pacts and stolen youth. I mean, come on, wrinkles happen. It's called aging gracefully, not selling your soul to the devil gracefully. Married with children. Lots of children. Now let's talk about married life, shall we? Having a big family? Which couldn't possibly be a blessing from God, right? It had to be some kind of dark magic making those babies appear. Seriously, these accusations were all over the place. But wait, there's more. Not having kids? Also a witch. Barrenness, especially during tough times, was seen as a curse brought on by dabbling in the dark arts. It's like they couldn't lose, could they? Heads, you're a witch. Tails, you're a witch. Chapter 8. Having a lot of female friends? Oh boy, you better watch out. Back then, a group of women hanging out was practically considered a coven meeting. Heaven forbid women enjoy each other's company. That's suspicious, right? Got a bone to pick with your neighbor? Keep it to yourself. Any kind of disagreement could be misconstrued as witchcraft. It's like they thought women were incapable of having a difference of opinion without summoning demonic forces. Were you a strong, independent woman in the Middle Ages? Well, I hope you were good at pretending to be meek and mild, because any sign of assertiveness or, God forbid, stubbornness was like waving a giant witch flag. Now this one's a real head-scratcher. Knowing how to swim? Definitely a witch, because everyone knows witches float, right? Enter the infamous dunking test. If you drowned, well, at least you weren't a witch. If you survived, guilty as charged. Talk about a lose-lose situation. Ever mutter to yourself while doing chores? Well, in the Middle Ages, that was basically a one-way ticket to the stake. Talking to yourself meant you were talking to demons, obviously. No other logical explanation, right? Spoiled milk? That's not bad luck, that's witchcraft. Seriously, if your dairy products went bad, people started pointing fingers. It's like they'd never heard of bacteria or improper storage. You'd think being a good speaker would be a good thing, right? Not so much in the Middle Ages. If you were eloquent and charismatic, people might suspect you were using your powers of persuasion for evil. But wait, there's a catch. If you stumbled over your words, that was also a sign of witchcraft. Apparently, only witches had trouble speaking in public. It's like they were determined to find something wrong with you no matter what. Love animals? Well, keep your distance, because owning a pet, especially a black cat, could land you in hot water. People thought these animals were witches' familiars, helping them carry out their wicked deeds. Speaking of black cats, these poor creatures were basically public enemy number one. They were seen as demonic entities in their own right, and if you were caught with one, well, you might as well start practicing your best cackle. Ever feel self-conscious about a mole or a birthmark? Well, in the Middle Ages, those could be taken as evidence of witchcraft. They were seen as the devil's mark, proof that you'd made a pact with the forces of darkness. And finally, we come to the catch-all category of physical traits. Basically, if you looked different in any way, red hair, a crooked nose, a limp, you were suspect. It's like they had a checklist of witchy features, and if you ticked off enough boxes, you were done for. In conclusion, the roads to witchhood were riddled with peril and suspicion. Seriously, you could get accused of witchcraft for practically anything. From a simple misunderstanding to a neighbor's grudge, the reasons were often absurd and baseless. Imagine living in a time where your every action, no matter how innocent, could be twisted into evidence of dark arts. If you find yourself embodying any of these traits in the modern world, such as being outspoken, independent, or simply different from the norm, consider yourself fortunate to live in a time where you can express yourself freely, without the looming threat of being labeled a witch. Today, we celebrate diversity and individuality, recognizing that our differences make us stronger and more vibrant as a society, without the fear of being condemned as a witch. The historical lens of witchcraft exposes how the anxieties of society can unjustly target individuals and ignite mass hysteria. These trials were not just about superstition, they were about control, fear, and the human tendency to scapegoat those who are different. Reflecting on this dark chapter of history, we can learn valuable lessons about tolerance, justice, and the importance of standing up against unfounded accusations. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the signs of witchcraft from the Middle Ages, make sure to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your engagement helps us bring more fascinating historical insights to light. Let us know what other topics you'd like us to explore. Until next time, stay curious and keep questioning the world around you.